24. And 24 is certainly, as you know, all that our good friend Solomon has done is he's put a collection of wise sayings together, things that he feels that those who want to have a life of ease should follow. Okay? And so, just that simple, all right? So in 24, he says, "Be not thou envious against evil men, neither desire to be with them, for their heart studieth destruction, and their lips talk of mischief." Okay? And so, Solomon gives us a suggestion about how we should view life in general. Okay? How we should view life in general, because it is an unfortunate reality that oftentimes we think good guys finish last, don't we? Yeah, I know y'all say you don't. Nobody want to really y'all ain't. Like you ain't sure if you can say it out loud. Yeah. Most people walk around as if good guys finish last. And in fact, and that's problematic, right? And so what makes it problematic?
We do.
Well, of course you do because you think that way, but what about your thinking makes it problematic? If you think good guys finish last, it means you don't act like a good guy. Right? Because you act based on how you think, okay? And so when you think good guys finish last, you don't act like a good guy. Really, if you become, that's why I said, be not envious against, those kind of folk, all right? So, for example, if a person mistreats you, most people find it difficult to walk away. Most people find it difficult to show them love. Most people find it difficult to not feel like you got over on me, okay? Because of how we think. And so therefore, if somebody cuts you off, you feel like you are obligated to give them the middle finger. Right? Because of how we think, in that regard. Our thought process is, it's like, you're not going to do me that way. Okay? And that's what he's talking about. He said, because we need to understand something about how they think. Okay? That what they do will ultimately lead to their destruction. So if you think like they think, you will end up getting what they will get in the end as well. So what he's saying is, how y'all doing tonight? Right. We're in Proverbs 24. Proverbs 24. Right? Okay? So he's saying that what? That evil people don't finish first. Evil people end up being destroyed. Okay? Now, here's the thing I want to throw out at you right quick. How many of you all know evil people? Okay, you're right. Y'all don't know any evil people? Y'all forgot to raise your hand. All right. So here's the thing. If you know evil people, here's the question you have to ask yourself. Of the evil people you know, how many of them seem to be happy? Isn't that odd? Of the evil people you know, none of them seem to be happy. That ought to tell us something about what evilness gets you. Right. If evilness was a reward, then they would be happy. Usually a part of why they're unhappy, and that's what makes them more evil, is that they are so unhappy. Right? And so we know what? That their evilness is oftentimes what's destroying them. Why? Because think about this for a second. People who are evil, how many people really want to help them? My brother, everything all right? Yes, sir. Proverbs 23. My man. 24. 24. Proverbs 24. All right?
Stop sipping that wine now.
You said you want a sip of wine?
No. What Proverbs are 24 and 23.
It's a good class tonight.
We're live tonight.
Oh, you said, well, Leah's supposed to be here tonight. She's going to come in and stir some stuff up. All right. Okay. So anyway, what Solomon is trying to help us to understand is one simple concept is what? Bottom line is what? When people are evil, don't seek to be like them. Always understand that people who are evil end up being miserable people. So if you don't want to be miserable, stop being evil. Because evil people, we don't get the benefit of the doubt to. Evil people we sick of. Evil people we try to avoid. Evil people, when they come to your house, you don't answer the door. Evil people, when they call you up, you look at the call ID, and you say, "No, not today." So if you want, in other words, if you want to have a life that has some joy in it, he's saying what? Don't be evil. All right? All right, all right. Come on in, brothers. Come on in. We're in Proverbs 24. Okay, we talked about in Proverbs 24, okay? All right. Verse 3 says, and 3 and 4 we're going to look together, all right? Verse 3 says, through wisdom is an house builded, and by understanding it is established, and by knowledge shall the chambers be filled with all precious and pleasant riches. Okay? By wisdom is an house builded, and by understanding it is established, and by knowledge shall the chambers be filled with all precious and pleasant riches. Now he's just not talking about the concept of, brick and mortar and the concept of using the wood and the nails and that kind of thing. What Solomon is saying here is that in order for you to have a home, or I guess we would say to make a house a home, you have to be wise, right? So here's the thing. What makes your house a home? Love. And what else? Order, right? And getting along and money. What you say? Good feet. Okay, explain that one.
You have to be good stewards. You have to be able to manage the home.
I'm thinking through. No, it's not what you said wrong. I'm just thinking too. That's not what he's talking about. But I'm just thinking about it because it takes money to buy the house, right? And if you have money, money buys the house, right? So managing the money keeps you in the house. But what if you're in the house but you don't feel like it's a home? You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's what he's talking. That's what Solomon's referring to when he says. That's why he says what? And the knowledge shall fill the chambers with all the precious and pleasant riches. You have to think back and go to the previous chapter. Remember in the previous chapter, Solomon just said to us what? If you consider riches to be material gains, you are not wise. Right? So when he's talking about riches, he's not talking about material gain, because he's already told us in the previous chapter that material things are not what we ought to consider riches. What we ought to consider riches is pleasantness, loving kindness, and how we benefit other people in our lives, right? So when he says we ought to use wisdom and knowledge, he's saying, how can you fill all the rooms with joy? Certainly you want to have bed in this and sleep in it, but how can you fill all your rooms with joy? How can you make sure that it's a place you want to come home to, rather than a place where you gotta come home to? Because a lot of people don't want to come home. Yeah. They just have to come home because they have nowhere else to go. Right? And that's just a fact. And when you get home, you wish the other person would leave. Because as long as they're there, you can't enjoy your home. Right? And so what he's saying is that if you have wisdom, it will establish a house where you can enjoy. And so why wisdom? Because what does wisdom help us to do? And you've named them all individually. What does wisdom help us to do as far as making a house a home? You can make wise decisions, and what are some of those? For example, wisdom helps you put up with people. I mean, that's the bottom line, right? Wisdom helps you put up with people and understand that it's okay to put up with people. Because people who are not wise don't think it's okay to put up with your faults. But a wise person understands something about your faults. And what do they understand? What should they understand about your faults, I should say? That you're human and that you had them faults before we moved in together. And so if we had them faults before we moved in, why are you expecting me not to have them faults now? See, a wise person understands that. And that's what Solomon said, you know, again, you got to tie this in. Remember I said those two chapters, 23, 24, kind of, you know, married together? See, if you're wise, you don't expect people to get rid of faults just because you got rid of yours. Right? Wisdom will suggest what? You know what? You was this when I met you, you still this now. Because if you don't, guess what happens? You don't want to come home. You're the person that get off at 6 o'clock and come home at 7:45. There was no traffic. You didn't want to come home. You ever seen people that get in the driveway and you know you be like, why are they still in the car? You debating, they got to go in. Yeah, right? Come on in, how you doing? Come on, make yourself at home. All right? So and that's the key. I'm gonna stay just for a little while because I think this is very important. I think those two verses are very important for us to take them in a sense that we can apply them daily. Okay, so we can apply them daily because if you think about, I don't care what environment you're in, whether you're married, whether you have roommates, whether you have children in your home, you always want your home to be the place where you want to be. Right? That's the place where you want to feel safe. That's the place where you want to feel like if I can't get joy nowhere else, I can get joy in my home. If I can't relax nowhere else, I ought to be relaxed in my home. But the only thing that will allow me to relax in my home is when people in my home are using wisdom. Right? And they're using knowledge. And oftentimes what we don't use is knowledge. We don't use wisdom either, but we don't use knowledge. So what knowledge should I be trying to use? Well, I'll tell you. Knowledge about the person that's causing me havoc. Right? See, oftentimes what I don't want to do is to know you. I want you to know me. Y'all with me? Yes. But see, I should be trying to know you just like I want you to know me. You ever heard people say things like this? Well, you ought to have known I didn't like that. You should have known. Yeah, you ought to know me by now. You should know me by now. You should know me by now. Well, why should I know you by now if you don't know me by now? If you knew me by now, you would know I was stupid enough not to know you by now. Right? Yeah, you'd have been all right because you would have known me too. Right? So knowledge means that I should be trying to know you if we're living in this home together, if we're using this same space. I should know you, and I should know you well enough to know what you're capable of and what you're not capable of. I should know you well enough to know when your actions are meant to be harmful and when your actions just happen to be harmful. Everybody follow me on that one? Because there's a difference between you trying to harm me and your actions being harmful. Right. But oftentimes we don't differentiate between the two. I can hurt you and not be trying to hurt you. I can hurt you and have been trying to help you. Right. But you still just as hurt. Right? So, but your knowledge of me should be thinking, well, wait a minute, is that his character? Why would he be trying to harm me? And if you know enough about me, know I'm not trying to harm you, then why do you hold that to my account? Follow me? So that one should drop away. And then wisdom about that should say something to you, right? And that is perhaps a part of the problem is not you, but a part of the problem is me. Because if you are hurting me and you're not trying to hurt me, it means somehow I have not conveyed something to you in the right way. So then I need to take ownership of it. This is a quiet congregation. Is it a drop? Okay, all right. I know what it was now. Okay, that's what it is. Okay, all right. Okay, I'll take your word for it now. Okay, all right. Next, 5. A wise man is strong, yea, a man of knowledge increases strength. A wise man is strong, yea, a man of knowledge increases strength. Now, here's what my grandfather on my mother's side always used to. Well, he didn't tell me. He told my mother. She told me. But what his philosophy about life was. His philosophy. She said that he told her there are 2 places you don't spank a child. Okay, and that was in his hands and on his head. Can you guess why? Right, he said because either he needs to have a mind so he don't need to use his hands, or he needs his hands if he ain't got a mind. So he needs one or 2 things. He needs to know how to use these or know how to use this. Right? So he said, well, no, he's going to upside the head because he might knock some sense out of his head. Right? All right. Now, that was just his philosophy, okay? Now, but here's the thing. What Solomon says is something similar to that, but he brings it home a little deeper. Because what Solomon says is this, that what gives you power, what gives you strength is not your muscles, at least not the muscles in your arms and your legs. What Solomon is saying is what gives you strength is how you think.
Right.
So he's saying that the goal in life ought to be to have your brain so elastic that you can outthink your opponent. Not that you can outfight your opponent, that you can outthink them. He says because the more knowledge you have, the more power you have.
Right.
And that is so true. The more knowledge and the more you know how to use that knowledge, that's what gives you power. And note, he says what? He differentiates between being wise and having knowledge. All right? A wise man is strong. But he said when you have knowledge, it increases the strength that you have. Right? Because the more you know how to use, knowing how to use is great. But the more you know, the more you can use what you know in a wise way. And that gives you more strength, right? So that says something about how we ought to be delivering. Come on in. The world, come on in here. Oh, Jesus, y'all just made me one happy individual. Look at all these folks up in here tonight. Yeah, we're in Proverbs 24. Okay. And we're at verse 5 right now. Proverbs 24, verse 5. Okay. Yeah. So if you think about that concept of a wise man is strong and a man of knowledge increases strength, what does that tell us about what we ought to be striving for every day? Knowledge. Yeah. Isn't it odd that intuitively we know that, don't we? I mean, intuitively, something tells you that what? The more you know, the more you grow. Right? The more you grow, right? The more you know, the more you can grow, right? But isn't it odd that even though something in here tells us that, we fight to say we already know? You think about it. But people want to convince you what? I already know that. Right? It's almost like we feel like we need to let you know we already know something when you know you don't know. You really, you know you don't know. Here's what I have learned. That learning is a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week process. And I have learned that there is nothing or nobody you cannot learn from. And in fact, you ought to spend your entire time dealing with people trying to learn from them. Okay? Really, I'm serious. Because everywhere you go, people are giving you verbal and nonverbal cues that can help you understand people. If you can understand people, you have more strength than you will ever need. You will have more power than you can ever decipher. And I'm going to give you a good example of that right now. Okay? Does anyone know who Silky Slim is?
I've heard the name.
Heard the name?
Oh, this is that pimp.
Okay, man, do y'all know what a pimp is?
Yeah.
I'm a deacon. I don't know what a pimp is. I don't know her. Think about this for a second. How is it that a pimp can convince a woman to give her her most prized possession in exchange for $1 and then give him the $1?
I never understood that.
Say it again? No, not she lacks knowledge. He has knowledge. See, he has knowledge. Here's what he has done. He has figured out what you need to hear so that you will think he's doing it for your good. Right? All right? That's an ex-pimp over here. You can take a strip card. But I'm
I was
serious.
told when a doctor retires, he's always a doctor.
Still a doctor. He doesn't retire. But I mean, really, think about that for a minute. Here's a man who finds a woman, and every woman in here knows that that's her most prized possession. Right? That's what you know. But yet, she's willing to say, hey, you know what? Well, I'll go out here on the street, in the cold, in the rain. Yeah, neither sleep. Keep her from her appointed ride. And then she'll take the money and give it all to him. Right? Listen, I'm giving you a real world example of what Solomon is talking about. That's knowledge. See, that's knowledge right there. He has understood what makes that woman tick. Every woman does not tick based on the same ticker.
There you go.
Every woman in here has something about her that's unique to her that will cause her to fall for you.
Right.
And every woman in here has failed for somebody. But not for everybody. Because there was not everybody, and you know that there have been many people that have tried to make you fall. But you didn't, did you? But that one person. But that one person, right? That one person knew what to say. They didn't necessarily know. They ain't had no money. They knew what to say to make you say, well, okay. I think I can work with that program. That was based on knowledge. They figured you out. That's knowledge. Okay? So I'm just saying, that's why wisdom is strength and knowledge increases strength. Let me tell you something. If you know enough, you can walk into a car dealership and walk out and not pay one dime over what they paid for the car. But you don't have that knowledge. So therefore, you can't convince them. Okay? But if you got the knowledge and the wisdom, you can make it happen. And that's life in all around. If you got the see, if you knew, let's say you're trying to buy a house from somebody. If you know exactly what motivates them to sell the house, you can get the house sold in no time at all. But you don't know, so you're guessing the whole time. But what if you knew that they had to be out of the house in 10 days? If you knew that, it'll change how you negotiate.
Sound like a salesman.
Huh?
Sound like a salesman.
Well, it's just knowledge, right? But that's what life is all about, right? It's about what you know. Think about this for a second. How many of you all have health insurance? If you don't have to raise your hand, but if you have health insurance, have you ever noticed that when you get the bill back, it'll show you what the provider charged and what the health insurance decided to pay? Yes. Well, see, if you had that knowledge, you could do the same thing. Or if you want to look, I know right now, Blue Shield ain't gonna pay you for $35. I ain't got no insurance, but I got $35. Because either way, what? They only getting $35. But you don't know that. So you can't go in there and negotiate because you don't know what the price is. But if you knew that, you could do that. That's what he means when he says knowledge gives you more strength. So every day you should be trying to learn. Every day you should be trying to learn from people, because when you know people, let me tell you something, you can get anything you want. Anything. If you know people, they'll give you anything. If you know them, they'll give you anything. Anything. Okay? All right. You good? Yeah. Okay. Did you learn anything? Yeah. I'll take your word for it now. What time the class start? Class on Tuesday at 7 o'clock. Okay, all right. Verse 6 is another one of those standalone verses. For by wise counsel thou shalt make war, and in the multitude of counselors there is safety. And that's just straightforward stuff, right? All Solomon is saying is, listen, hey, before you try to fight somebody, talk to somebody else. You know, your first step should not. Your first step should never be retaliation. Right. Is his point, and that's a practical thing. You know, and we're not talking about career against America, this kind of thing. I'm talking about it from an individual basis. Your first step should never be. I don't care if somebody slap you. Your first step should never be to slap back. No, don't do it. I see you looking, don't do it. Let me tell you something. Number one, you don't know if they hit you the hardest they could the first time. See, they might have slapped you with 1/3 of their power. And then you slap them back, and then they give you everything they got and knock you out.
We gonna find it.
Well, that's why some folks get knocked out, because they find out. But that's why he says what? Wise people discuss it before they react. Because sometimes, let me tell you something, again, let's practical, okay? Let's do a practical thing about it, right? Why do people make war with their mouth? Anger. Why else?
Words hurt.
Well, they are crazy. Right? Yeah, but why do they use words to hurt? What's causing them to? Because they can't fight. Oh, okay. Maybe they can't fight. Frustrated. Whatever, right? I know. That you're right. Here's the kicker. Here's the thing. How does that get you what you need?
It doesn't.
See, it does the opposite.
Right.
Fighting with your mouth does the opposite, but yet look how quick people are to do it. All right? See, but wise counsel would suggest, wait a minute, let me stop and find out what do I need from you and what do I want from you. And so let me get counsel on how to get that out of you. Because if I'm angry with you, I lose. going to war with you, I'm saying, we're not talking about what, one country against one country. We're talking about individuals. When I go to war with you, I lose. Because I don't get what I want. I only get what I want when I refrain from war and get peace. And that's why the second part says what? And in the multitude of counselors there is safety. Am I right? Am I right there? That's all I need to hear from the pimp. And that, it makes so much sense, but it goes totally against how we operate. You know, and that's the thing. And I know it's hard, my dear. I know it's hard. but the reality is that grown people aren't afraid. See, grown folk aren't afraid. My point is this: if you come and you some want to all that mess with me, I ain't scared. You don't get nothing out of me because of that. All I'm doing is get on my cell phone and dial 911. Yeah, you come one more step closer. Or I'm gonna put it on what? I'm gonna put it on record. Especially if you got some money and dial 911, put it on record. Somebody like you, Ronnie? I'm gonna put it on record. Right.
But you slapped me
Yeah, we're
first.
gonna be in court. I'm like, see, I ain't recording my slap. I recorded
Because DNA is on my
yeah,
face.
we're gonna be. That came because when you was approaching me, you brushed up against me. Knowledge. I know how the transfer of DNA takes place. It was in my space. And I got a recording to prove it. But really, no, and think about it, in all sincerity. Think about with the people who you deal with on a daily basis, in your home, on your job, all these kind of things. And think about how quick we are to argue with them or go to war with them. And think about whether or not you get what you're trying to get out of them when you do that. See, our concept is that's what I can get when I fuss you out. I can fuss you out and I can get what I want out of you. But as an adult, you know that don't work. You know it don't work, but yet we still try it. Right?
See, when I fuss,
Why you take your arm from around the window?
okay, all right.
Hold tight just
Well, put myself in a situation. When my voice get loud,
Right.
sometimes I don't even know it's loud unless they tell me.
Right.
Boy, I feel like the louder my voice, the more they feel me.
Or fear you.
Let's say if I want some macaroni and cheese tonight, right? But I want some macaroni and cheese.
Right.
So the more they feel
that you.
if I say it softly, they don't think I'm serious. Right. If I say it loud enough, they know I really want it.
Right.
Or want something done, or you know what I'm saying?
Okay,
I don't do it for war. You know what I mean?
I get you.
Like,
but
then they think I'm fussing though.
But see how she looking at you.
But they ain't fussing.
I know you ain't fussing. But see how she looking at you. She's saying, that one she's saying, what? When we get out of here, we're going to war. Making me seem soft up in here. But no, here's what I'm saying. No, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. And men and women do it, right? What men do, I know what you said. See, here's what happens. Remember, I'm going to translate for you.
Thank you.
All right? He said, I don't know I'm doing it, but they tell me. You know why they had to tell you? Because you're not raising your voice, you're changing the tone of your voice. See, for women, when you put more bass in your voice, they say, stop yelling at me. It really, and that's why for you, it's like, I ain't yelling at you.
Yep.
What we do is we go deeper.
Yeah.
Hey, I want some macaroni and cheese. Even when you think about it, even when you deal with your kids, right? When you deal with your kids, when a man is dealing with his kids and he's serious, he don't get louder, he gets deeper. Hey, didn't I tell you to do something? We put that bass in the voice. why are you yelling at me? No, we put a bass in the voice. It's interpreted as yelling, right? Women tend to get a higher pitch in their voice. It's the higher pitch that they come across with. And for us, that's squeaking, we can't stand. We can't stand. Right? So we interpret that as what? The same thing. You are yelling at me. The same thing. But here's the thing, you know, here's what you know, right? If she were to lean over and kiss your ear and then say what she wanted you to do, you would understand perfectly well what she wanted, wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
I know. See, it ain't gotta be no squealing, right? Boom, that gentle boom, 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 boom. And see, and the same thing that it works the other way around as well. It's just that our interpretations of it come across a certain way.
Right.
You know, but that's why you know you got to go back also to what knowledge, right? And so when you deal with that knowledge, then you know where your strength lies, and so therefore you don't need to what base it. You don't have to base it now. All you can do is know what motivates.
Yeah.
Because there's some things that's gonna motivate macaroni and cheese.
Yeah.
Hey, we want macaroni and cheese at the Super Bowl party. Okay. All right. Now, 7. Wisdom is too high for a fool. He openeth not his mouth in the gate. Straightforward stuff, but it still bears about 2-3 minutes of conversation. Okay. And I've said this to you all on several occasions in different ways. So I'll say it to you in a way that I oftentimes say it to you, which is, don't expect a fool to be anything but a fool, right? Because when you're expecting a fool to exhibit wisdom, then you have defied the Bible. And so there's no need to defy the Bible. You've been told several times throughout this process that what? Only a fool will argue with a fool. You know, all those kind of things. And he's telling you right now what? That a fool, fools don't understand how to be wise. So therefore, they will never be wise. Because if you don't understand how, a fool will have knowledge. Let me tell you where you can find the biggest fools at in the barber shop. Or at the bar. Barbershop in the bar. Barbershop in the bar. You know why? Because they got all the knowledge in the world. That's where all the knowledge is. That's where all the knowledge is. Barbershop, everybody, let me tell you, walk into a barbershop and say, who gonna win the Super Bowl? They give you all the statistics. Yep. They tell you what the probabilities are. They can tell you who should win, they know the game better than the coach out there. They know everything about everything. If they had just did this, it is all this knowledge, right? And you better not tell them you don't know what you're talking about either. You better fight it. It becomes no longer just a regular conversation. Now it's almost like go for your gun. Because there's no wisdom there. And you can't convince them folk that you don't know as much. Who's the quarterback just got fired from the Cowboys? Jason Garrett. You can't convince not one person that they are not smarter than Jason Garrett. They'll tell you all day long, oh, if he had did this, if they had did that. And I'm like, you have never been a pro football coach. You ain't even coached high school ball. Matter of fact, did you even graduate from high school? We ain't even talk about that. But they know more than Jason Garrett. They know everything. They know more than Bill Belichick. They know all this stuff and they never did one thing. And you can't convince them otherwise. They will just take it to their grave that they know more. Okay? Why? Because a fool doesn't even have the common sense enough to know that, you know what? I don't know. I just don't know. And so because of that, when it says what? He openeth not his mouth in the gate, what it's meaning is nothing he says makes sense. Nothing that he says will have validity to it. So why listen to him? Just let him say what he got to say and move on. Don't argue with him, because it's a waste of time. Okay? He that deviseth to do evil shall be called a mischievous person. We kind of talked about that earlier, so we don't spend a lot of time on that. And that's just simple stuff, right? If you try to, if a person, in other words, evil is as evil does. I guess that's the best way to put it. Evil is as evil does. So if you have a person that's evil, what Solomon is saying is, don't expect anything different from them. Just don't do it. That's kind of like I guess a different take on the same thing what he's saying about the food, right? And again, for some reason, oftentimes, I haven't figured it out yet. I have learned not to be this way myself. I haven't figured out yet why we expect evil people not to be evil. I haven't gotten that yet. Because that's my expectation. So someone asked me one time, said, Pastor Daniel, this is what they asked me. This is not me patting myself on the back. This is what they said to me when I was standing right there at that door over there when people walking out the church and I'm shaking hands. Okay? So you all think, well, you always patting yourself on the back. No, it's what a member of the church said to me. It's Pastor Daniels. We're going to start calling you cool. It was a she. She said, because nothing seems to bother you. She said, how do you remain so calm? I don't know if you remember the Sunday when the thing fell on my son's head? Yeah. And I guess she expected me to fall out or do like everybody else was doing, like lovely wife, oh my God, my son. His wife was like, oh, and all I did was say, look, y'all take him over here and finish preaching this sermon. And so he said, nothing seems to bother you. How do you do it? I say, it's simple. Let me tell you something. I view everybody like their children. Everybody. See, I don't expect people to be grown up. Let me tell you why. Because, see, you expect grown-ups to act differently than they used to act when they were children. I don't. See, I realize you just got old. You ain't changed a whole lot. You just got older. Yeah. If you was evil when you was 5, you evil now. If you was a bully when you was 5, you a bully now. You was a different kind of bully, but you a bully now. You ain't changed that much. See, that's how I look at people.
You expected that to happen.
I expected. See, that's why I'm saying how cool I am. So Solomon's point is, hey, listen. Rather than getting all upset with somebody because of their mischievous ways or because they have maintained their evil ways, why? Hey, just accept, you know what, that's how they are. Why do you expect them to change for you? What is so special about you that they will no longer exhibit evil ways? Right. Now if you've assessed it, you said to yourself, what? I can't think of that one reason why they would stop being evil for me. Why? Because I ain't paying them to be non-evil. Are you? No. If you're not paying them to be non-evil, then they're going to probably keep right on being evil. If you put them on payroll and pay them to be nice, they'll probably what? Be nice. See, huh? Right, till they get on break. Break time to go. Really, think about what justification have you given to an evil person or a mischievous person to stop? None. Because you don't know what prompted them to be the way they are. You don't know if they're the way they are because they was mistreated as a child. You don't know if they're the way they are because they were mistreated when they was a teenager or an adult. You don't know what's going on, right? And if I lived a life where I was always abused, I'm not going to trust you. You keep telling me I should trust you, but what have you done for me to trust you? Nothing but just exist to say you're a Christian. You expect me to trust? Do you trust all Christians? I know. So why should I all of a sudden, you follow what I'm saying? See, it's not like we've done something to cause you to change, so why should we expect you to change? So that's why I don't expect you to be anything than what they are. And in that way, I'm rather disappointed. I expect everybody in here to lie. I have not been disappointed yet. There's some of you I haven't heard you open your mouth yet, but your actions have lied. You said in your actions that you were a member of the church.
Stop it right here.
We can go to verse 9, can't we? The thought of foolishness is sin. Good Lord, sit around here. Woo! All y'all going straight to and the scorner is an abomination to men. Listen, Jesus says something similar to this, all right? Now, and isn't that something that Solomon says to act? When he says foolishness, he don't mean it in a way that we oftentimes term foolishness. He means people that continue to act in foolish ways, right? And people that do things that cause their actions cause negativity in other people's lives. And he's saying just the thought of it, God uses a sin. Right? The plotting without the action, he says that God sees it just as if he had committed the action in and of itself. Right? So Solomon is telling us that hey, listen, God don't like it when you think that way. And then he also says, in the same breath, he's saying, and men don't like it when you have a negative attitude. Men meaning people, right? When you are one who always has a negative attitude, so one is God is mad, or I shouldn't say mad, but is not pleased, and the other is man is not pleased. All right? And again, if you think about that, I mean, it makes sense because consider how you feel with people who always have something negative to say about everything. You know, you get sick of it. All right. Verse 10, and most of these are kind of standalone verses, as you can see, right? Except for a couple that I've already added together. Verse 10, if thou faint in the day of adversity, thy strength is small. If thou faint in the day of adversity, thy strength is small. To me, that's like having a thermometer that measures your faith. Okay, because what he's saying to us is, if when you go through something, it takes you out of character, it says that your walk with God is not what you thought it was. Okay, if when I was in school, in school, one of the instructors would say this, that the size of your faith says for us how you view the size of your God. You know, if you have little faith in your mind, you have a little God. If every time adversity strikes you, you fall apart, then that means you don't have faith in God. You don't view God as being able to take care of you. Okay? Because if you believe in God the way you say you believe in God, then that would mean nothing would cause you to get out of your stride. Because you know that God is able to pick you up and put you back where you're supposed to go. Right? And by the same token, nothing that would happen to you would give you an excuse to do stupid stuff. You ever, give you a mild example. Okay, this is a mild example, right? Let's say you're on a diet. You're on a diet, you're on a diet, I'm down to 1,000 calories a day, whatever, so on and so on. And then you come home and the house just messed up. I'm sick of these people around here. They don't clean nothing up. You see, I'm trying to stay on my diet. Look on my last nerve. Let me get out of here and go on to Bojangles. Oh, my nerves. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
We can't take nothing. Right? Someone dogged you out a little bit. We can't take nothing. And he's saying, listen, if every time something happened to you, that you fall out, there's something that you need to start working on, right? And so what do you need to start working on? What is it that he's saying in this text that you need to start working on? Yourself. In what way? Like your faith. He said you need to strengthen yourself. You need to be stronger. What you need to do is not look outside, but look inside. Not that you have more problems, but look inside and say, I don't have enough faith. I don't have enough strength. Everybody got problems. Your problems are no more or no less than anybody else's. The only difference is that you don't have the faith that they have. And that's the key thing. Because there's nobody problem free. Right? If any of you all thought for 1 minute that as the pastor of Enoch Baptist Church, I was problem free, you need to be committed right now. Okay? Not that you're bad, it just means what? You're crazy. because it doesn't mean that not just mean any pastor. It doesn't mean you don't have less problems. The difference is in how your faith allows you to deal with your problems. That's all. I was no less concerned when my son got hit in the head. But I am his father. I'm not less concerned, but my faith just said to me, you know what? God got him. And what am I going to do? I don't have your background. I don't want that. I couldn't judge a concussion. I couldn't, I don't have that medical background. What am I going to do? I got to do what I do best, which is just pray. And I got enough faith to realize that my praying doesn't have to come with a bunch of tears and, stuff hanging out my nose. Because that ain't going to move. God ain't moved by that. God moved by the sincerity of my prayer, not by the outward showing of what I'm saying. So, and that don't take all that day long to do that either. And so when you think that way, it changes things. So there's something. So when everything always shakes you, it means you need to work on your strength, and your strength is built up by your faith in the God that you say you serve. And when you get that little stuff, most of us don't have big. Few people in here have big problems. Matter of fact, I don't know if you got a big problem and you're in here, you fooled me. Because I have not talked to anyone in our church that has a big problem. What I've talked to folks is who have a small problem and just have little faith. Really, little faith. My husband left me. So. The first woman husband left me? Really. This the first time somebody left you? First time you heart got broken? No, please, come on. What is there a big problem? I wake up in the grave.
Wake up in the grave.
That's a big problem.
That's right.
See, what other problem can I have? That's a big problem. Let's say I go to Dr. Martin and I say, you got stage 4 cancer, you got 2 months to live. Guess what? Who's going to be broke tomorrow? My wife? I ain't got a problem. I got a vacation. I'm going to take your money. I'm going to the bank. Get it right there. get problems if I believe in heaven. That's why I say what? If I wake up in the grave, what happens? I'm in hell. That's when I got a problem. My Lord God, I've been doing all this preaching, and you got me down here in hell. Otherwise, there is no big problem. Why? I'm going to heaven. I'm just getting there quicker than you. That's all. That's not a problem. Let's see, I get put out. I've been homeless before. I can make it. I tell anybody, and I mean from the bottom of my heart, you can kick me out of this church right now. They can take every dime I got. Let me tell you something. You see that Burger King down the street right there? They got a sign on Burger King saying, I'll be right up in there. I said, again, I'm your help. I'm going to tell you, we ain't gonna hire you because you overly qualified. I said, okay. I'll go right in the parking lot. I'll sleep in the parking lot. What you doing? I'm working. Why? Because I'm hungry. Give me a waffle. What are they gonna do? Give me that waffle. You know, if I do the next day, you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna give me a job. And it might take me a year, but in a year's time, I'll be the manager. Because I'm not going to give up. I'm going to say, you know what, God, you got me. See, we don't have big problems. We just have little faith. Now, wake up in the grave, you got a problem. Got a problem there. Hot or cold. You wake up 6 feet under, you got a unless you got an air tube coming down, you got a problem. And even then you got a problem if you can't get out. Okay, all right. That's what 10. So let me mark down this time. Y'all can talk to me real quick and I'll put down. So we start 11. So we start 11 next week, all right? All right. Listen. So God bless you. The heaven will smile upon you. And y'all be careful driving home, all right? Good night.